Now in Vienna, senior figures from the United States, Russia, Turkey, Saudi Arabia and for the first time Iran are sitting down and talking about Syria. They hold very, very different views about the fate of Syria's President Assad and indeed the credibility of the opposition groups and the threat of Islamic State. Well, let's go now to our correspondent Bethany Bell, who's in Vienna, outside the Imperial Hotel where those talks are taking place. And I suppose, Bethany, at least the talks are happening, and that's a very important first step.
Yes, before these talks began, people were saying that it was a breakthrough, that they'd actually managed to persuade everybody to sit down at the same table with each other. We understand they've been sitting at a big U-shaped table with the arch rivals Saudi Arabia on one wing of that table and the Iranians on the other wing. The talks have overrun. Initially, we were expecting them to wrap up around lunchtime. They've now gone on, we expect, at least 2 hours over what they were expected to do. These are very, very difficult positions here, big disagreements, and people are saying that a mark of something having been achieved here will be if there is agreement to meet again soon. That is the level of difficulty here. Questions like, people trying to put out their starting points for a possible negotiation over things like a transition government, a possible ceasefire. But at the moment, the talks continuing, we're waiting to see what they come up with.
And I suppose, although no one's holding their breath, at least the fact they're talking, and in fact they're overrunning on their talk so far, that in itself is quite a positive sign.
It's being taken as that at the moment, but we won't know until people actually come out and say what they've achieved here. There are very, very big differences, notably over the fate of the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad. At the table are, of course, some of his very biggest backers, Russia and Iran, at the table for the first time in that. And then there are those who say that he has no part in Syria's future at all and that he should go as soon as possible, countries like Saudi Arabia and the United States. If they can bridge the gaps to agree to keep talking, that is what that would be seen as this big achievement here. But it is very, very difficult indeed. And it's not clear whether they'll be able to manage it, even if these talks have continued to go on.
Bethany, thank you very much indeed. Bethany Bell there reporting.